Well, hello again everybody, Pete here. I've got quite a weird bunch on this bench to discuss today. It's really the perfect filler I bought the other week. I want to try and do some tests with it. Well, I've done some tests with it to try and see whether it's any good or how I feel about it in comparison with the normal filler I use, which is this, or Revel's own Plasto, which that's an old hard tube of. I have tried before another similar putty by Vallejo, which was this one. Yeah, it's by Vallejo, which is very much like this, a polyester type putty. And I think they're very much the same as the Tamiya one. There are some, if you can see in the background on my Ranchero, there are a couple of little blemishes. Those who saw the silver tests on this the other day will notice that I've sanded it all back down to get rid of that. But I've used this, if I pick it up actually and bring it forward, around that area is the whatever this stuff's called, perfect filler. Come on, zoom in a bit. Doesn't like it, does it? So I've used a bit in and around there, and a couple of other minor places. There's a little bit in that dimple and the fin there, so that's okay for filling little things in there. And it hasn't come out, although I've done so much work on that car. Filler's been in and out all over the place. I found on this 59 bumper, there's some quite big divots in and along there, and I had quite a lot of trouble trying to fill that in. Will that zoom into me? Not particularly well, sorry about that. There predominantly, but I've eventually got it done. I've got no idea how I'd clear that grill out. I really haven't. On another model I'm building, which is this display of charging cavalrymen, I've used it in a more liberal fashion, because I know there's quite a few steps in the mouldings to these, so I've liberally applied it, and on this horse started sanding it down again, which seems reasonably okay so far. I don't know, it's early stages in both this model and seeing what that will show or not show after it's had filler. So on a different test I used an aeroplane model. This is an early Airfix Red Arrows Nat. On this half I've filled it before primer, and I do want a little bit of a line there, but I didn't want a big gap. And on the underneath in the wing root there and tail roots. And then on this half I've tried spraying it first and then filling on top. Makes it easy to see, and as in most places held, but I'm quite sure you can see that shadow there where it's come out, so a little try again. Main thing I wanted to actually add to this, it can all fall over, I know it is, stand up, was a welding technique, or to create welds, and using, if you can see in the background, these are syringes, hypodermic needle syringe, and I get them, and if did I sand this one down? They are extremely sharp. Where is that in fact? You know, get them brand new from your chemist, drugstore, I don't know what you have, wherever you are. But by getting a variety of them, I reshape them. And they give me different sizes. If I can get this to show up properly. I've sanded the tip down on it. It's not going to, is it? Yeah, I've sort of got it. This is bloody awkward. I'm going to stick it right. I've hopefully get it to focus. You sand the top part of the tip down so as it's flat, and you've taken the actual point that goes in down, and that will leave you with a C-shaped ridge around the circumference there. And what I do is, where I want to, I've done these bits as welds. Are they going to show up at all? I can't see whether this is focusing. I'm at a funny angle on my camera. Right, hopefully these will catch the light. No. So what I've done is laid 2 bands of masking tape either side and put on a row of filler along there. Oh, come on, stop it. How about turning that back a bit? Hang on. Bear with me. Right, hopefully that will start focusing. So I'll create with my weld tool, going along there at a slight angle. Pretend you're welding so that you've got a nice sort of angle of approach, and dip your way along in the still wet filler. And just before it really hardens, peel it back. Now on this side I've got the Holtz stopper type filler, which is a cellulose based filler, and on that white strip I've got the deluxe product one. I'll try and raise the middle and see what difference there is in breakage. So there we can see 2 lines of weld bead. Oh, I'm wobbling around like a boat trying to cross the serpentine. Right, slowly bring that there. I've done it in a quite large size. Like I said, that was 0.9mm thingamy, and it will give the scallop effect of a weld. It's not going to bloody focus, is it? Gives you the scalloping of a weld. Now you see along there. Maybe if I peel that back, bear with me. There we go. Right, now we've got just the weld left, where I've taken the tape off either side. And if please focus. You're gonna do it. And you could, where it's a bit tufty along the top, just lightly sand it. But you end up with a good representation of a weld bead, even though my blimmin' footage isn't showing you that. But for adhesion, let's have a ping. That's come off of there. and that's firmly attached because it's cellulose base and has eaten into the plastic a little bit. So I'm still much more in favour of my, it's not going to come in at that range, is it? Of my Holtz filler rather than the deluxe filler. You can see that bottom bit just pinged off. And it's much more durable. The green stuff for making welds is pretty handy. That's a 2-part cut a slice of it and mix it together. So just, how do you zoom this thing out again? There you go. Big spiral of it. Mix the two together and it'll form into a nice bead, you know, a thread, and you can lay it in to points. I've used the Holtz filler again there to create more welds into those corners, but the same would apply with the green stuff. You can tuck it in there, then texture it with the blunted needle and get a nice weld shape. I hope this is not all out of focus because it's quite long and awkward and stuff like that. My preference is still with the older stuff. That I don't really like the deluxe stuff. Anyway, bye bye.